All right. Well, welcome everybody. Welcome back to another episode of our Sweet Stories podcast. Today we have a very special guest, my father, Lou Balla, the mastermind. Don't want to stroke his ego too much, behind Balla Associates, now the founder of a visionary cloud solutions provider, Nuage. From setting up turnkey systems for mid-sized businesses in 1986 to becoming Lawson's Software's first and most successful reselling partner, Lou has shaped industry standards and guided Fortune 500 powerhouses like Massey Cole, USA Today, AARP, Fannie Mae, Universal Leaf Tobacco through several software transitions. As a pioneer and believer in the power of the cloud, Lou has become at the forefront and has been at the forefront of digital transformations. I'd like to say his work is more than business. It is a commitment to seeing people and organizations reach new heights of success. Stay tuned for a captivating journey of innovation, insight, and personal growth right here on Sweet Stories. I'm Louis Balla, partner at Nuage, joined with my co-host Gina Ostrowski. So without further ado, let's dive in with Lou Balla.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Louis, for that introduction.
Absolutely.
Hi, Lou. Glad you're with us today.
Gina?
You've had a significant journey in the tech industry. Could you briefly tell us a little bit about your path to becoming the founder of Nuage and where you're headed?
Sure. So basically, I started in the hardware, IBM hardware space. This is back in the early 80s, where mini computers were just coming on the scene. So they were pretty revolutionary in that everything till then was mainframe systems. So now companies didn't have to buy mainframe time. They could have their own system, hardware and software, and kind of more control over their destiny. From there, continued doing hardware, worked with a software company, very successful there, and then transitioned into software. We really saw the future as software, and specifically ERP software. So went through a couple iterations. I guess the key theme was just transition on a regular basis, to the point where we became, as Louis mentioned, Lawson Software's first reselling partner, and that was in the mid-90s. That was very successful, grew the company. We worked with a lot of Fortune 1000 companies, great software, successful journey. And then we really saw the future as the cloud. Back then, it wasn't the cloud. It was called application service providers, where it was data centers. And people would put their systems in the data center, leave the maintenance of administration to others so they could focus on their business. And I really saw that as the future. We sold the company, Balla Associates, to a ASP provider that acquired us, as well as 10 other similar companies. Worked for that new venture for a little over a year, and then decided to kind of pursue other avenues. And that was working kind of a total shift, fiber optics, bringing fiber to the home. Everyone now is used to internet. Back then, internet was hard to get. This is the early 2000s. And we worked with a lot of communities to put multifamily as well as big residential communities to put fiber to the home. Decided in 2011, I'd enjoyed what I did, but I really wanted to get back into ERP. And that's when I looked at various ERP solutions and decided NetSuite was the right fit for me. Cloud leader, cloud since day one. Great software, and I mean we've been doing this now for 12 years. It's amazing the journey, how much the software has evolved. It's in a lot of cases, we saw this back in the Lawson days as well. The ERP software was pretty stagnant. Whatever you bought was pretty much the same software 5-10 years later. With NetSuite, that hasn't been the case, and that's what really attracted us to NetSuite. Its evolution. Right now, we do a lot of work with manufacturers, distributors. Back when I started in 2011, NetSuite didn't even have a solution for those industries. And today they have a great solution, and they're a major player in that space. And we're a major player in that space as well, because that's what we focus on, selling and implementing into those spaces.
So I think, noting the evolution of NetSuite, we often find that when we're doing these implementations, it's largely an evolution, not a revolution, as it relates to the digital transformation these organizations take. Curious, what do you think are some of the key elements businesses need to adhere to or address when successfully implementing and leveraging NetSuite?
I think because the nature of the ERP software has changed, where it's no longer a stagnant solution that, what you buy today is what you're going to be running on in 5-10 years. Companies need to shift. They need to see this as not just a one-time thing where I'm buying and implementing ERP and I'm done, and now I'm just maintaining it and maybe create a few more reports here and there. They really need to look at it as you mentioned, Louis, an evolution, that they buy the software, they're going to implement the software, and it's a journey. And I know that's a big shift, been a big shift in our own business, is working with customers, existing customers, even new customers that have NetSuite, that are successfully implemented, everything's running great, but are really looking to the future. What can I take advantage that this software offers me that I'm not doing today? How can I continually improve the way we operate internally? And how can the software help me do that?
That's interesting. Sounds like I wrote a few things down: transition, shifting, evolution, journey. You always have to be, it's ongoing, right? And it scales with your business. Sounds like you picked the right solution to represent for sure, Lou. In saying that, how have you seen the role of technology in business evolve over your career? And what impact has it had on your own business strategy?
So I'd say probably the evolution has been that companies are really viewing ERP now as more than just an accounting package. It's going to help transform their business. It's going to help them be able to adapt to, new business climates. I mean, we all went through COVID recently, and we know what a dramatic shift that was. And the companies that could adapt and pivot and make, kind of meet these new challenges are the ones that are doing well today. And I think, software today, whether it's NetSuite or other software, is more flexible, and it allows you to pivot, whereby in the past you couldn't pivot. You're pretty much like stuck in between two concrete walls, and that was your space. And now we don't have those limitations. So, and I think that's helped us as an organization is to pivot, transition, move into new markets that we didn't have footprints in before, and being able to adapt and take advantage of the new markets that NetSuite has penetrated, that we've now been able to penetrate, like I mentioned earlier, manufacturing, distribution.
So kind of in that vein, from your perspective, as a leader in the tech space, being at the forefront of cloud technology, when I think a lot of folks said it could never be done. Curious, what's probably the most important piece of advice you could offer businesses navigating today's crazy digital landscape?
I would say probably, and I was a big believer in this from the day when, kind of before we sold our Lawson practice, our associates, that why should a company take on all of this administrative work and other work that somebody else can do better, and somebody else can do cheaper? Focus on what you do best. Focus, you're in an industry, focus on being the best in that industry, and leave these other things to someone else who's the best at it. And I think in the past, people tried to, they had on-premise systems, they had their big IT staff the IT staff focused on doing all of the software development, the maintenance, the reports, all of this. There's more efficient ways to do it. And I think when you have others do that for you, that's what they feel, that's their specialty. That's all they do. So leave it to the experts. And I think people probably shy away from that because they think it's more expensive. I think it's easy to point out how much more efficient and less expensive it is to do it that way.
Yeah, that makes sense, Lou, for sure. Just would you share with the audience? I know at times we talk about our favorite book or resource or an individual influencer, mentor, anything like that. We'd love to see how they have significantly influenced you to approach your business and technology. So could you share that with us?
Sure. I think one of the ones that really stands out for me and it's sales oriented because I've been in sales my whole life, is the Challenger sale. And really in the past, when I first got into this business back in the early 80s, it was really your interaction was one-on-one. And you would maybe interact with the head of IT, and that was it. And you had no exposure to anybody else. That was the decision maker, and that's who you had to focus your energies on. With the Challenger sale is really about working with everybody in the organization. When I say everybody, I mean the CFO, the COO, the CEO, really getting everybody's vision. And I think for us, especially because we're dealing with an ERP solution that can help all of those different individuals and their departments, different sections of the company, that we need to make sure we're getting input and we're interacting with all of them. It's, yes, the CFO is in most cases the primary person, but you probably got a VP of operations. And what's important to one is not as significant for the other and vice versa. So I think it's really the focus is on the enterprise as a whole versus then an individual piece.
And I think we, being cognizant of time, want to maybe ask one question and wrap things up. But as we look at digital transformation in the next year, 2 years, 3 years, what do you think are going to be some of the most pivotal shifts as it relates to Nuage versus other solution providers and ERP as well?
I think it's a shift that actually we've been going through ourselves for about the last year and a half, and that's the focus on optimization. It really the focus on, it's a journey. It's not, you don't just get from point A to point B and you're done. Point B is when you go live on a new system. It's an ongoing journey, and we see our own customers, the ones who see this as a journey and who take advantage of functionality they probably already purchased but haven't implemented yet. They're the ones that are becoming the leaders in their space. And I think that's the big transformation. And it's been huge for us. I mean, the number of customers we've been able to help through this journey and are continuing to help through the journey is great.
No, that's great. And to our audience, that concludes our first episode of Sweet Stories, and what an insightful conversation it was. We want to thank Lou Balla for joining us today and sharing his valuable perspectives on the rapidly evolving landscape of cloud technology. For listeners, if you're looking to navigate your own digital transformation journey, remember that you don't have to do it alone. At Nuage, we specialize in helping businesses like yours leverage the power of NetSuite to streamline operations, make data-driven decisions, and drive growth, the all-important growth. Whether you're just starting to consider cloud solutions or need expert guidance to optimize your current systems, our team at Nuage is here to help. Thank you for tuning in, and we hope you'll join us for our next time in another episode of Sweet Stories, where we continue exploring the experiences and insights of business leaders in the world of cloud technology. If you have any questions, feedback, or suggestions for future guests, we'd love to hear from you. Please get in touch with us at Nuage, and remember, every business has a story. Let us help you tell yours. Have a good one.